Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm here with my BFF, Mariana, and we are going to answer some TMI, girl talk / people with vagina questions.
We're so hyped.
Thanks for sending us questions. The first question is, what is the best compliment you've ever received from a stranger?
So the one that immediately comes to mind is my junior year of high school. I was at prom. We were at California Pizza Kitchen. We're all just sitting there eating pizza, and as we're getting up to leave, this lady, she's like 50, 60, she like beelines towards me, and then she's just like, you're glowing, you're so pretty, like, just have a wonderful night. And I'm just sitting there in shock, like, I was just eating pizza, like, that's cute, that was so nice.
I think the best compliment I've ever gotten, and I don't know if it's necessarily from a stranger, but it's like when people meet me, I've been asked a lot if I sing, like when I talk, and they like compliment my voice, like just like my talking voice. And I don't know, it makes me feel comfortable because I'm like a YouTuber, obviously, so I talk all the time. So when somebody says that they like the sound of my voice, it makes me happy.
You do have a nice voice.
Thank you. How do you become more comfortable talking about taboo topics? I feel like it's my calling in life to talk about uncomfortable topics. I don't know. I feel like a lot of peace when I talk about things that other people were like uncomfortable with, and then like when they talk to me they feel better. So that is like what like inspires me, I guess, to talk about uncomfortable topics.
I think the most important thing is honestly just promoting correct knowledge. Like, people will say like, oh, this is taboo, like don't talk about it, don't learn about it. Like,
can you tell that we're health majors?
Yeah, like I love it. I love learning about things that aren't supposed to be talked about, and then promoting things that are correct to no longer make it taboo, because especially when it comes to health, like, your health should not be taboo. You should feel free to ask questions,
retweet,
know about your body, and it's very passionate about this.
Question number 3, what is a good bra to work out in for people with big boobs? This is such a good question because I don't know.
Honestly, I still don't think I have a good workout bra, but get sized, I guess. Know your size, because everyone is so different. You have a different bandwidth, a different cup size, and then just get like the best sports bra for you, because you can't just be like, oh, that one looks right. Like,
yes. I feel like where I go wrong is definitely the band size. I have like my proportion to my body size. My boobs are a little bigger than like somebody my size usually is. So my bands are always too big, and even if the cups fit and the band doesn't, it's not doing much for you. So that is probably where I feel like a lot of people go wrong there too. How to cover up stretch marks, acne, and scars. So I say don't. I say rock the stretch marks, acne, and scars. I personally don't wear like a lot of makeup in general. Also, if you get a lot of acne, I feel like when you cake a bunch of makeup on to cover it up, it kind of like messes it up because it makes it worse. And I feel like you just get into an endless cycle of like uncontrollable acne. So my personal opinion on covering up acne is to not. But I totally understand like the scars and wanting to cover them up. I literally wear high-waisted things all the time because I have scars on my belly from my surgery. But I wish I could rock them, and I think that I should rock them, and I think you should rock them too.
Especially with things like acne, if you're like uncomfortable or insecure about it, you can try to figure out what's causing it, if it's something that you're eating or if it's like just hormones, because if it has an underlying factor, then you can try to fix that and then just not get acne. Like, everyone gets acne sometimes. Like, I'll just break out on my chin. Maskne. I'll just break out on my face, and then it's just there for a while. It can be hard to embrace, especially since it's something so many people are insecure about. I still don't think I embrace it, but I think I just kind of forget about it. So I don't know.
Life is too short to care too much about those things, which is very easier said than done. But
yeah. And then with things like stretch marks, I kind of think they look really cool. They look like little lightning bolts on like on my thighs. They do. I think they look so cool.
I love it. Also, everyone has stretch marks. Like,
everyone,
tiny
every
people,
single person does.
Large people, everyone has stretch marks.
It's a byproduct of growing, and unless you're a newborn baby, you're going to have stretch marks, and they're bad. So
rock them. How do I get over my insecurities following off of that? For me, I feel like I stopped caring about like what people think for the most part. Like, I know like when I made my YouTube channel, people were probably, or like I expected people to like be rude about it. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do what makes me happy. So that is how I got over them. But I'm not over them. No one I think is over them. But
yeah, like I feel like self-confidence and insecurity is like it's always changing. Like some days I'll be like on top of the world, I don't care, I feel like a bad and then
I want a bad bleep Addison Rae.
But then sometimes I feel really insecure about like how I look or like just how I talk, things you can't control.
Question 6. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get heated about this question. If a boy is mean to you, does that mean he likes you? No.
No!
It does not.
Absolutely not.
I mean, he could maybe
he might like you, but if he's being mean to you,
don't take him.
Drop him. I was looking at the viewfinder. Drop him.
Ass. Drop him.
Because if a guy likes you, and like maybe you like him too, but he's being mean, why would you want to deal with that?
Know your worth, queens.
Know your worth.
What's your opinion on sex before marriage?
I don't have an opinion.
I mean, here's the thing. If you want to have sex, do it. Do it safely. But
do it safely.
Do it.
Oh my gosh.
If you don't want to have sex, don't do it. Don't do it. And communicate that you don't want to do it, and know your boundaries and know your worth, and don't do it. Don't let someone take advantage of that.
I mean, it's for sure something that you should think about for yourself. Like, how much worth does having sex have to you? Like, I don't know if that sentence made sense.
Yeah, like the concept of like losing your virginity, how much does that mean to you?
Because for some people it's not worth anything, and that is 100% valid, and that is correct. And then some people losing their virginity or their virginity is super important to them, and that is 100% correct and has value. Like, it's a super personal thing, and if you want to have sex with someone and you feel ready to, go for it. And if you're not ready and don't want to have sex, perfectly understandable, and I'm here for it.
Question 8. How should I have the boundaries talk with my boyfriend? So the boundaries talk is important to have. You should have it. I say you should have it either very early on in the relationship or before. That way there's no like missed communication in there. And I also think that having that communication helps you grow in your relationship, so it does a lot of beneficial things for you.
Like, it can be super hard to be vulnerable. Like, I totally get that. And having that conversation with someone, it can be really hard to go about it. I was trying to think about this earlier. Like, it's important to have, but maybe a way that you can kind of bring it up is like either after a date or while hanging out, just like ask them like, hey, what are your boundaries? Like, I really want to know, because it comes off super respectful, number one, and like number two, like that you care about them and want to make sure you're within like respecting their boundaries. And then they should ask you yours as well. And if they don't, or they don't seem, they're like, what are boundaries? Like, that's kind of a red flag, or maybe like
waving that red flag. How do I tell my boyfriend that I'm on my period when I'm not feeling up to activities like swimming? First off, you don't have to tell them at all if you don't want to tell them, because it's totally up to you and your comfort level. But if you are one of those people that would feel better having that conversation and being able to say like, I don't want to go swimming right now, I don't feel good, or I don't want to go hiking, I'd rather watch a movie in bed. Just having that open communication will help build your relationship and also educate them, because boys don't always know that much about periods if they've never had a period.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Like, with a partner, it can be hard to be vulnerable to talk about that, especially if it's not something you're used to talking about. But I just kind of like drop it kind of like just lightly. Like, if someone's just like, hey, like, how was your day? I was like, you know, it kind of sucked. I had cramps all day, and then my period started, so I'm just upset, you know? Maybe not upset, but, you know, just kind of like sprinkle it in lightly. It doesn't have to be a big thing, unless you want it to be a big thing.
It gives you a gauge of like how mature that person is and like how much they care about you and how you feel when you're going out somewhere. Because if somebody was like, oh, I don't care, you should do what I want you to do,
dump them.
Dump him. What is your skincare routine?
So basically what I do, if I'm not like rushing for class, because I have a very bad habit of waking up the last second before running to my bus
or running to my computer.
I will wake up in the morning. I have a CeraVe hydrating cleanser that I like to use, or I just use water just to wash off like any oil that was produced while I was sleeping, just kind of like to give myself a fresh base. And then every morning I put on sunblock. I think it's so important to use sunblock because the sun is so mean. So
rude.
I use the CeraVe A&M moisturizer. Every time you wash your face, you should moisturize, whether you do it just with water or anything. I always recommend moisturizing and investing in a good one. I love CeraVe, not sponsored. And then if I'm wearing makeup that day, I put it on after I'm done putting sunblock on my face. And then at the end of the day, I'll use the micellar
I know what you're talking about.
water to first take off my makeup, and then I use the same CeraVe hydrating cleanser afterwards, and then I use the CeraVe PM facial moisturizer. Or if I'm feeling fancy, I'll use like a little face mask.
Ooh.
Like Lush, we love her.
For me, I just use Neutrogena Gentle Scrub face wash like when I'm in the shower usually. Like I'll just do it at the same time, or if I don't shower that day, then I'll do it in the sink. And then as far as like makeup and stuff, I don't wear makeup every day, but I will always like use makeup remover on my face anyways, just because I feel like it cleans your face. And I use the like oil-free makeup wipes by Neutrogena. They're in a blue package. I feel like they're like the generic ones that like most people find on shelves. This next question is, can you talk about birth control? And the answer is yes. I could talk about birth control for like 20 years. I don't really know what part of birth control to talk about, but I hope this answers your question. There are lots of types of birth control.
So many. We can list them off. There's IUD, there's the implant, the pill.
Yes, the implant, which goes right here.
Depo-Provera shot. There is, well, if we're talking about all types of birth control, there's like spermicide, to condoms is a birth control technically.
There are so many different kinds, and there are so many different types of humans who need birth control or want birth control or whatever.
To get the best kind of birth control for you, ask your doctor.
Ask your doctor. And also, if there's a kind that you're trying and you don't like it, that's totally fine. Your best friend may use the same kind as you and it may not work for you. So try another one or get off of it if you feel comfortable being off of it. Whatever it is, know that they're all different and that there are options for you. You just gotta go find them, try them. And also like monitor yourself when you're trying a new kind. Like, am I feeling okay right now? What is changing about me that I like about this? What am I not liking about this? And weigh the pros and cons, because there may be more cons than pros for certain types for you, and you may want to switch to a different kind. So just like be aware of what's going on and like have that conversation with yourself pretty much on like reflection.
Yeah, and do your own research. Like if you're not ready to go talk to a doctor about it, I feel like YouTube is a great place to see other people's reactions to it, to gauge like how their body has been affected by like this specific type of birth control, or the process of getting it or removing it if you no longer like it. It's all so different. So
I could probably make a whole birth control video. So comment down below if you want a birth control video. I will make one. Can you talk about safe sex? We can also talk about safe sex, guys.
We can.
First off,
it is so important.
You should be having that safe sex. I mean, unless you don't want to have sex. don't go.
If you're having sex, have safe sex.
Yes.
There are so many ways to have safer sex. Pulling out is not an acceptable method.
No, it is not.
Do not do that.
Well, yes, pull out, but also have safe sex. Unless you want to stay in.
Whether it's if it's a new partner, use a condom at the minimum. At least use 2 different methods of birth control if you're trying to prevent pregnancy and STIs. Use so the pill will do its work for preventing pregnancy, but
as long as you are taking it at the right time every day, not skipping them, doing all the things.
But will do absolutely nothing in preventing STIs. And STIs can be so detrimental to health. They are so bad.
Also, you don't like always know that you have one until you go get tested, and it could be like very late and you may have already developed other conditions because of it.
If you have multiple partners, absolutely get STI tested. I forget the number, like every 3 partners?
I don't
or every
even
5?
know.
That might be totally incorrect.
Do not cite us. Do not tell our professors.
Safe sex.
Just have safe sex if you're having sex. What is your opinion on modesty as a Catholic? So I don't think this is as a Catholic necessarily. I feel like it's
like
just,
as a person.
As a person, yes. I feel like you should always wear what makes you happy and what makes you comfortable. And
you'll have everyone's always gonna have an opinion. So I think once you stop caring about what other people care about, that's like the best place to be. I wear what I want to wear. That makes me happy, that makes me feel good about myself, that makes me comfortable. And that's all that I think is really important.
I mean, I've been told, oh my gosh, you're dressing too modestly, you're 22, like wear something else. And I've also been told,
oh my gosh, my mother would never let me dress like you.
But yeah, so no one's gonna be 100% approving of you. So you just need to approve of yourself and do what makes you happy. How should I ask my parents or tell them that I have a boyfriend? So I've only had 2 boyfriends in my life. One of them, I was like almost 15 years old, and I don't even know like if we really counted as like dating because we didn't really go on dates. That time I like texted my mom, who actually was like just having my sister Ren, like she was literally in the hospital having a baby, and I was like, can I date so-and-so? And that's what happened. I was like, I'm almost 15 and you're having a baby, so can I have a boyfriend? We dated for like 2 months and we like broke up. I don't know, we were in 8th grade, guys. I probably don't recommend texting your mom while she's having a baby, but that's what I did. And the second time, with my current boyfriend, I told my parents, I mean, they kind of knew. Kyle and I were kind of like those people who are like best friends, and like everyone's like, are y'all dating? And we're like, no. Are y'all dating? No. Are you? It went back and forth for like a year, like years. So it kind of got to the point where I was like, we are becoming more than friends, I think. And then we started dating. So that is how I told them. But I was also like older, 18 probably. So yeah.
How I did it with a boyfriend, I just went in and be like, he asked me to be his girlfriend, and then walked into my room. Like it was a very small, tiny conversation.
Question 16, what is your preferred period product? So, I mean, I think this is asking like what we use, I guess. I mean, tampons and pads, they're not my preferred. I just have to use them because that is like what I use.
Yeah, I don't think anyone prefers their periods and having to deal with it. But for me, I love using a Diva cup, but I lost it. So now I'm just sticking with tampons. Tampons I prefer. I use a pad as well in conjunction to tampons.
Yeah, I always use both. That's just...
Some days are just a struggle, y'all.
How to relieve bad period pains. So there's a lot of ways that you could do this. My personal favorite is a heating pad if your like boobs hurt or you have like cramps, or both. I mean, me. So heating pads are kind of a lifesaver. Also just a lot of Aleve. Eating healthy like the week before your period is also like really helpful. If you know that there is like a certain nutrient that you're not getting, try to get that, especially before your period, because
magnesium.
I was just subtweeting magnesium this whole time. So yeah, try to incorporate all of those things into your diets because you don't want to be hurting your body. Also, if you're someone who's like lactose intolerant, don't be going hard on the dairy.
Yeah, sometimes period pains are just the worst. So medication is always incredible. I love it. I use HEB brand like menstrual relief or something. It relieves a bunch of symptoms like headaches, fatigue, pain, bloating. It targets all the major symptoms and I love using that. It does have caffeine though. I think a lot of menstrual products do, or menstrual medications involve caffeine, so if you're sensitive to that, you might just have to stick with Advil. I don't know if Aleve has caffeine.
I don't think it does. Also, like, certain things work for certain people. Like, those, like, did not work for me at all. But, like, I also use different things. So, try different stuff. Because if it doesn't work, then maybe it's not the one for you. Try something else. Also, another way to relieve bad period pains, talk to your doctor about birth control options. Because that is a very big way to relieve period pains. Especially if you have, like, PCOS or endometriosis or something like that. So... that is another way to relieve period pains. How to cope with PMS mood swings. So I guess this is also part of period pains, but before your period?
I kind of don't realize I'm PMSing.
Until it's too late.
I just have mood swings, and then I'm crying. Like okay, so a few months ago I was watching Onward, and then the end just hit me. I was sobbing.
Oh,
like a baby.
Me about that.
I was crying so hard during Onward, and then I was just like, I was thinking like, it's not even that sad. Like, it's just kind of like a little bit wholesome, but it had me sobbing. And then my period started the next day, and I was like,
this makes sense. If you're in a relationship or you have like your best friends around, it's something that you can like talk about. Be like, oh, like I'm really sensitive right now, and like I'd rather, I don't know, sometimes like I try not to make like major life decisions if I know I'm gonna be more sensitive about certain things. So if you're like good at communicating your feelings, then it's a little bit easier to cope, so you don't feel like you're dealing with all your emotions by yourself.
And then we highly recommend tracking your period too, because then if I kind of find myself being a little more emotional or like grumpy, I kind of just check, and I'm like, oh, my period is supposed to start in a few days. I'll blame it on that.
I'll blame it on that. Is it bad if I don't have a 28-day cycle?
I don't have a 28-day cycle.
I don't either. So no, and we both had our periods for like 10 years now, so.
Yeah. I don't really know of anyone who has consistently 28 days cycles.
I've never been, I guess, regular, but I feel like there's a difference between being normal for yourself and like being unhealthy. So if you know that you regularly have a 28-day cycle and then sometime it starts switching over to 45, then maybe that's something you should be concerned about and talk to your doctor about. But if you generally fluctuate between like 25 days and 35 days and that's your normal, then I mean, if you've cleared this with your doctor, you should be okay. So I don't think it's necessarily bad to not have a 28-day cycle, or else we're just garbage.
Everyone else in the world has 28-day cycles.
Just us. Comment down below your average cycle time. We're gonna get dragged in the comments.
Everything we say is completely wrong, and they're just trashing us.
Oh gosh. Thumbs down this video if you have a 28-day cycle. Please don't thumbs down my videos. Please. I hate when I get dislikes. It makes me sad. Is it okay for a girl to make the first move? Absolutely okay.
100%.
It is awesome if you make the first move.
All for it. Like, I think it's kind of a dumb standard to say that a man always has to make the first move, or like, I mean, of course it always feels nice to be wanted, right? Like, it would feel nice to have someone approach you and make the first move, but do not feel like that has to be the only way.
The next question, should you shave your bikini area or not?
I think all of our answers are like, it's up to you, homie, but it's really up to you, homie. Like,
it really is.
If you yourself, like, you're going to the beach and you're uncomfortable, then shave it. Like, you don't have to,
or
if you
wax
don't want
it,
to,
or
wax it,
or whatever. There are so many options you can do.
Hair removal is a personal choice. Like, people will make you feel bad. They will make you feel unhygienic for having body hair, and that's dumb. Like, it's natural. Your body's doing its own thing. It's trying to protect you. If you want to, go for it. Should you? You don't have to if you don't want to.
Just be clean. Like, you can be clean with hair. You can be clean without hair. Like, I think that correlating the two, like being hairy as being dirty, is not fair and not true. So just be healthy, take care of yourself, and
have body hair if you want to have body hair.
Yep. Next question, is going to a gynecologist scary? I feel like going to the dentist is scarier. I hate the dentist, in my opinion. Depends on if you're afraid. If you're afraid, that is valid.
My favorite thing Erica's ever told me is that she'd rather go to the gynecologist than get her teeth cleaned, and that killed me. I thought that was the funniest thing ever.
I hate like hands in my mouth. I think that it's uncomfortable for sure, but I don't find it very scary because I am very like big on like health, and I don't know, I want to go into that like in nursing. I really love women's health specifically, so I'm not afraid. But if you're afraid, That is valid.
Completely. Doctors in general, you have to be super vulnerable and have to talk about things you usually don't have to talk to people about.
And you don't know them.
Doctors, they should be there for your health and to take care of you. So,
and being honest is in your best interest. So
yeah, lying ultimately only hurts yourself, and it could deprive you of getting care that you might really need. So yes, it's scary, but it's also important.
Also, a good way to like combat this, if you're one of my younger viewers, is starting to go early, because you may not have to do like a pelvic exam and pap smear and all that when you're younger. So you can like establish a relationship with that doctor so that you know you're comfortable with them, so that when it comes time and you're older or you become sexually active, then you are more comfortable doing those exams. What is a pap smear and does it hurt? A pap smear checks for like cervical cancer, HPV. Usually you start getting them around age 21 or when you become sexually active. That may change depending on like what your doctor recommends for you, but it's not the most comfortable thing in the whole wide world, if I'm just being honest. There is an instrument called a speculum, which I will put right here. That is a speculum, and they put that into your vagina and they kind of like crank it open, so not like the most ideal situation, but you know, health guys. And they take a swab, and they just take like a little swab, kind of like a strep test honestly, of your cervix. Like they would swab your throat. It's just a swab of your cervix, and then they send that off to the labs to check it. I believe you only have to get one every 3 years when you're between or around the age of like 21, and then later in life it becomes like every 5 years. So it's not something you have to do all the time. And then the part where it says, does it hurt? I don't think it hurts. I think it's very uncomfortable, not like fun, but I don't think it hurts. I know some people have said that it like slightly hurts, or it feels like a tiny baby cramp, but it goes away. So yeah, that is a pap smear from a non-gynecologist.
I still haven't gotten a pap smear. I need to.
Vlog it.
Keep y'all updated.
Should I use feminine hygiene washes?
No.
No. No, no,
You
no,
should
no.
not.
Do not.
All those products, like, what are they? Like Summer's Eve. That's the only one that's coming to mind.
Yeah.
Not to bash on Summer's Eve, but
I'm bashing on Summer's Eve.
Products like Summer's Eve and feminine hygiene products like that make you think that your vagina is dirty, or your vulva is dirty and needs to be cleaned. But fun fact, your vagina are self-cleaning. They don't need any of those washes. I've heard once that if you're going to use soap externally on the vulva, not inside your vagina.
Do not put anything inside.
Do not. Douches, no. Nothing.
Don't do that.
If you're going to use an external soap, make sure it's one that is also like can be used on the face, because it is delicate for your pH and unscented. It doesn't need it. If you're going to use anything externally, use water. Water is all you really need.
Use water. Yeah, I think that is all of the questions that we have been asked. If you want a part 2 to this video, comment some more questions down below and we would love to answer them, because we love talking about uncomfortable topics. We love it. We love it. We live for it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.